Hi, We Church. It's great to have you with us again this weekend. I've been thinking through the Gospels this week about transformation, about how there's a power in the Gospel that actually transforms our lives personally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Everything about us is meant to eventually change. People should notice that Christ is doing a deep work within us. And as we journey this together, I think the greatest things about the Christian faith is that as we journey closer and closer to Jesus, he transforms our life. We become more and more like him. We like ourselves more. We like others more. Or we like God more. And it's a brilliant thought. I was thinking about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Jacob, obviously, eventually his name was changed to Israel. But Jacob means supplanter or trickster. And his whole life, for all these chapters throughout Genesis, like the Genesis 30s, 33, 34, it's all about Jacob tricking his family and tricking his brother out of the birthright, and then tricking his father-in-law and tricking everyone around. And then eventually, his life grows, his belongings grow, his whole family starts to expand, and there's that moment where he wrestles with God just before he leaves to go back to his brothers and his father's home. And it's where God changes his name from Jacob to Israel. And Israel is it means one who struggles with God and prevails, one who overcomes in that wrestle with God. And I think we're all in that wrestle. But what's fascinating to me is that Jacob is known as a trickster. That's his name. And his name gets changed to Israel. On the way back, they pass through Shechem. And Shechem was the prince of that land. And one of Jacob's daughters was raped by Shechem. And so all of Jacob's sons are furious about this situation, and Shechem comes to them and says, look, please, I actually love her now and I want to marry her. And all the brothers say, well, there's no way that's going to happen. You're uncircumcised. The only way this could work would be if you and all the males in Shechem were to be circumcised. Then we could become as one people. And so they talked it over and agreed amongst themselves. Well, 3 days later, it was a trick. And while they were still healing with their wounds, the children of Jacob, all the kids, they got together and they slaughtered all the men of Shechem. And it was this whole thing about being tricksters. And what was fascinating is that Jacob, whose name is now Israel, was disturbed by this. And what moved me was that God has changed Jacob to Israel, but none of his family have seen the transformation. They still behave like Jacob used to be, the old trickster ways. Jacob's been transformed. He's now Israel, and he is now mortified about this trickery lifestyle. And I just got captivated, and I wondered, do the people closest to me, do my family, my friends, those around me, do they see the transforming work that God is doing in my life? Or do they still think that I'm who I used to be? And we're going to make sure that we don't hold people ransom to their past. We're all hopefully a work in progress, and we're moving forward and we're making great decisions every day. But it just reminded me again to make sure that we let the gospel work transform us. And as it is transforming us, hopefully it's transforming others, that we don't hold people ransom to their past. So what is it today? Think about what God is doing in your life and the transforming work of the gospel. How have you changed? Have you changed? Have you changed from before? And what is it about your life that others could see that transforming power of Jesus? It'd be a worthy discussion today. Grab some friends, some family. Let's have a discussion about transformation. Have I changed? Is it noticeable? Can people see it in my life? It's great to have you with us today.